Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope everybody is well. I'm going to share a story with you. I'm going to try to get through it without being emotional. I'm very emotional this morning. It's just a lot of stuff going on in the world, so I just know we're getting closer to our time of trouble and our tribulation and the things that Esau has planned for our people. And so when you know too much and when you've seen the truth and you see the world for what it truly is, it's really difficult to see things happening in real time, biblical prophecy being fulfilled, and people are still asleep. People will not listen. And I was trying to talk to my stepmom yesterday, and she's still talking about the rapture. She's 70. She has almost 70. She's not quite 70. But I was just trying to tell her about, the things that are getting ready to happen, especially, with the eclipse. And she was like, well, when it's my time, it's my time. I believe God is in control and, we're going to be out of here soon. And I'm thinking, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to be right here. The only going you getting is probably to a FEMA camp. But you can't tell our people nothing. Negroes are the hardest people to talk to outside of white people about racism. I don't know which is worse. The the white people in denial about their own personal uh, racism and the benefits that they get from it, from participating in it or being quiet about it, or black people who you just can't get them to understand nothing. So it just grieves me when I see things happening and hear things happening and feel stuff in the spirit. And I've just been not feeling good for the last couple of days because I know what's coming. So this story today is about the Army seeking retirees to come back to work amid manpower crisis. So one story is saying that they're asking them to come back. But there are videos across social media, which I'm not going to show. But if you go to Street Ministries for Christ video, he has a video posted from TikTok where it's like a collage of people who are on social media. And I noticed that the people that are being recalled are brown, but soldiers who are retired or who were in two different branches are saying in the videos that they have been out and they've been recalled and they didn't want to know what was going on. And then at the end of the video, it shows where NATO is getting ready to um, do this huge exercise with all 91 NATO nations and some allies in Sweden. So I showed y'all the story the other day where Hawaii is pretty much the only state in the US that's not a part of the NATO coverage. And I explained to you what that probably means. It means when all hell breaks loose here, everybody's probably going to be all the politicians, everybody who's deemed saved, but not raccoons, because raccoons going to be right here with us catching it. But all the people who are selling us out probably have hiding spaces over there where there's no coverage. And there's no coverage because nothing's going to be happening over there. It's going to be their safe haven. The 49 states and anything in the Atlantic Ocean is where problems going to arise. So anyway, this story says the Army is seeking the retirees to come back to work amid manpower crisis. And this story is in the Tampa Free Press. It came out a week ago. But it says the Army is seeking to bring back retired soldiers to fill critical manpower shortages, according to a service-wide directive published this week. The All Army Activities document describes how Army retirees can find and apply for open positions and aims to maintain a sufficient number of personnel to fill all the Army's authorized positions. The message comes as the service has publicly acknowledged struggles to balance a shrinking workforce with the demands of sprawling global mission sets as recruitment woes persist for a third year in a row. It's the number 333. A review of commands request for the fill of authorized personnel vacancies in conjunction with current Army manning guidance prompted review of how the Army can fill key and critical position vacancies, the document stated, outlining the current situation. The retiree recall program can be an effective tool to fill personnel shortages of authorized regular Army vacancies that are considered key and essential. If you know anything about the Army and the Marines, they do all the dirty work. They do all the stuff, the ground work before they do the 5G cyber stuff and drones. So um, it was unclear whether the Army had already identified manning shortages to be filled or was issuing the message in anticipation of future need. The Army did not respond to the Daily Caller News Foundation's comments by deadline. An Army Any Army, Reserve, or National Guard soldier who qualifies as retired or will soon be retired, meaning they achieved at least 20 years of service, and anyone receiving retired pay is eligible to apply, the message states. Neither age nor disability alone would exclude a soldier from joining, depending on the disability, and they would still have to meet the Army's health requirements. There is no age limitation, although personnel older than 70 are not normally recalled, the message states. Notice it said normally, but in Russia, they've been over there recalling them folks been having to go, and in Ukraine too. So don't think they ain't gonna do it here. I've been telling y'all, whatever they doing over there, they gonna do over here. Same people. Um, so it said those who apply for the program essentially lets the Army send them orders to return to active duty if a critical role opens that no one else can fill. However, the message does not authorize any special pay or incentives. The publication initially sparked confusion and irony among military professionals online regarding the program's voluntary nature and whether it indicated deeper manning issues. The Army does have significant manpower shortages, but they are concentrated at the lower enlistment grades due to the recruiting crisis. So that means the people who go and do the dirty work, boots on the ground, like real boots on the ground. Those are the people that they can't recruit. These young people ain't going in. These young people not about that life. These young people are woke. They understand. The Most High is pouring out His Spirit among all flesh, and I know some people think that means something holy and heavenly. Folks are supposed to be so heavenly bound, they ain't no earthly good. Sometimes it's just a waking up. People are like, wait a minute, I'm a slave. Wait a minute, I'm going over here to do what? For who? And I'm going to come back and what's going to happen? And people have been doing this forever, and this is the condition and state they're in when they come back. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Young people are not like us. They're wiser. They're wiser in a lot of ways. So they're not wanting um, to do that, to sacrifice. And then a lot of them, because of the way that society has coddled um, these young people and given basically child rearing over to schools and to let them raise themselves. These people don't even have any critical thinking skills. A lot of them just do whatever they're told to do, and it's all by design. And nothing that's done and that we're experiencing today is by accident. So we just have to understand the problem, like all the other problems we have, were designed. They're intentional, and they need order. They bring order out of chaos. So this is again just another data point. Um, it says the Army does have significant manpower shortages, but they are concentrated at the lower enlistment grades due to the recruiting crisis. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Spover, an expert on defense policy and strategy and a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, told the DCNF. So I am not sure this particular message does indicate a problem since retirees are old, whatever. However, the Army recently acknowledged a persistent problem with roles that go unfilled for too long and proposed a reorganization that would cut down on the number of open positions by thousands. After a year-long review of the Army's existing force structure, published late February, the service concluded that the number and specialization of positions comprising the force did not match up with the changing security environment. So let me read y'all something about the retiree recall program. So this, and I hate this, I'm reading from another computer, but it's from Copilot, which is the artificial intelligence. I did a search and it just came up. So it says retired military personnel can indeed be involuntary. So this article said voluntary recall, but I want to share with you that retired military personnel can indeed be involuntarily recalled to active duty. And I remember having this conversation with my ex-husband years ago. And he told me, he was like, he was young. Well, he was younger at the time. Um, he was in his late 40s, early 50s. And he told me, he was like, I can be recalled at any time. He said, as long as I get a pension, the Army can recall me. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He said, if something happens, and, he was talking about, there's some big war, whatever. He's like, yeah, I have a specialized skill set. He was a combat medic, but he was a BSN nurse. He's a nurse, registered nurse with a bachelor's degree and works in management, had experience running whole military hospitals. And so, and he's really smart. So he could pretty much been a doctor. I would trust him to be my physician. That's just how good and how smart and skilled he was. But he has a skill set that is needed to take care of wounded military personnel. So he could be recalled. So it says the retiree recall program. The U.S. Army has a program called the Army Retiree Recall Program. According to ALARACT 017-2024, which cites Executive Order 13223. Remember this, Executive Order 13223 from the Bush administration in 2001. A retiree recall refers to a retired soldier who is ordered to active duty from the retired reserve or the retired list under specific legal provisions. Retirees can be recalled to AD active duty only if they match a valid vacant active component requirement in terms of grade and skill, which is what this article was talking about, how they went through and basically decided what critical roles needed to be filled. The use of retirees is considered a last resort to fill a AC vacant position, which is an active component vacant position. Recruitment crisis and force structure. The U.S. military is currently facing a recruitment crisis. The U.S. Army has announced cuts in positions, reducing authorized troop levels to approximately 470,000 by fiscal year 2029. So if they are reducing the troops by to 470,000 by 2029, that must mean we either going to have fewer people on this earth, fewer people in this country, or we're not going to be fighting nobody. They're not going to need as many soldiers because usually they have like 1 million troops around the world total. I'm not sure, but from what I've read, I think it's something like that annually. But that's huge. You go back from 2001 to now, that's a huge reduction in military personnel for the Army. So if that is the case, y'all got to know something is not going to be needing protecting, or something, whatever their missions are, those missions will no longer exist. Is it because that NATO will be the Army? Was it because the United Nations, the little blue hats, going to be the military? It's going to be a global military and everybody's going to be contributing? You gotta follow the dots. Follow the dots. Despite this reduction, the Army aims to maintain readiness and rebuild overall end strength. The goal of the goal is to have at least 470,000 soldiers in the active component by fiscal year 29, which is nearly 20,000. I would say it's 20,000 above the current end strength, but still a reduction compared to the planned force structure. So I don't know. It says retired soldiers who reach age 60 prior to the announcement of a mobilization will not be involuntarily mobilized. So if you are over 60 when they announced this, then you're okay. But if you're not and you're retired, then you could be recalled involuntarily. However, if they reach age 60 after being involuntarily mobilized, they will remain on active duty for the duration of the mobilization order. In summary, while retired military personnel can be recalled to active duty under specific circumstances, it is typically done as a measure of necessity and last resort. Don't nobody care about no necessity and last resort. The Army is actively addressing recruitment challenges to measure its transformation for the future. So I just wanted to share this story with you because people are starting to talk, and the military is the Army and the Marines are recalling people. If you remember the King Alfred's plan and what was in it, pay attention to who's getting selected, who's getting chosen to be recalled. Look at the faces of the people. And then think about that plan, because that plan is planning to collect certain groups of people. I cannot help but think about some of the things that are planned, have been planned for a long time and been known about. So it just seems like the powers in hands, whatever, the boogeyman, is starting to move on another phase of their project, which is to get folks who are not going to go along with their agenda, gather the folks and do things with them in a way that is not suspicious, but still helps them achieve their goals. So either they're going to be moved so that they can not be home to protect home front when things get to popping, or they're going to be used to gather up their own people, or they're going to be detained with this King Alfred's plan, and y'all already know what's going to happen. Persecution to the chosen folks and the folks who are deemed a problem. So anyway, I just want to share this story with y'all. To me, it's significant. The timing is significant. Um, a lot of rapid movements are happening. A lot of things are going on while we are distracted with all sorts of other things. I always tell y'all, when they tell you to look one way, you better be looking for other stuff. You better scour and look, because things are happening everywhere. And we gotta keep watch. You just gotta keep watch. There's so much stuff happening, that it's impossible to keep up with. But some of these stories are really disheartening to me, because I know our people are still asleep and they're not ready. I know our young people are not ready to be going to do nothing. Like, they're just not ready. They may be ready for 5G warfare now. They tell them to get on these video games, and we're gonna pretend like you shooting stuff from the sky from drones. We're gonna be ready for that. But they got to do boots on the ground and go get dirty, get some blood on their hands. I don't know if they're gonna be ready for that. Um, for all the people who follow me who were in the military, especially in the Army and the Marines, my heart goes out to you and your family, because I have members in my family who are retired, um, and could be recalled. I have family that live close to military bases, and I understand the risk with that's coming. With that, I understand that Babylon has to fall, and it's getting close to that time for us to be persecuted. Like, we don't know if we're going to escape the sword. And so, when I see these stories, I get emotional, because I know, it's easy to say, "Oh, I'm not going to be afraid. I got faith. I'm not going to have any fear." I wouldn't say I'm fearful. It's our mourning, because that you know what's coming, and you cannot do anything about it. You can't stop it. The people who can stop it refuse to repent and turn back from their wicked ways. Our people are just walking around like zombies, and I am just sick about it. And then, we have we can't even get along. We don't even like each other. The men don't like the women don't like the men, children disobedient. We yoked to these other nations, our men liking other women, and the women causing problems, and just division everywhere. We just misled any little thing, like little dumb sheep. Any place that something moves, the sheep just follow that thing. They're not paying attention to things that really matter. They're not like wolves or serpents or other predatory animals. We're supposed to be like lions, and we're like sheep. It's just really disheartening, and it just grieves me. I just cannot. I'm just very emotional this morning, so I don't. I'm not going to prolong this video, because I need to go into prayer myself. I've been fasting this week, and I'm going to continue to fast and pray. I suggest you all continue to fast and pray, because things are really getting ready to go down, and a lot of people are talking about it. And we're not going to be around to talk about it much longer. That's the other thing. Do you think they're going to keep letting us tell y'all stuff? No. They ain't going to let us tell y'all nothing. They're going to either round us up or turn the internet off. So in all you're getting, get wisdom. In all you're getting, get some understanding about what's coming. Cherish these peaceful times. Cherish your family and friends and your peaceful moments. Spend time with the Most High and reflect on His goodness and His mercy and His grace. Continue to cry out for our people. Continue to cry out for the awakening of more people. Um, Pray that no weapon formed against us will prosper. We need all the prayer we can get. All right, please like this video, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification and check and make sure you still subscribe so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Follow me on Odyssey, Rumble, Instagram, and on Facebook. The links are in the description. Also, if you'd like to support the channel financially, there are links for my Venmo and my Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Lastly, continue to prep. You need to get months of water. Months of water. You need to have months of food. Food that you don't have to cook. Food that you don't have to do anything to. You need to have alternative means to heat and cool. You don't necessarily have to have a way to cool, but you do need to have a way to heat if you're living in a place that doesn't get cold. Doesn't warm up until like late spring, early summer. You need to have things to take care of you in case you have wounds, in case you're sick from bad food, illness, anything that's airborne, just minor things like allergies, colds, diarrhea, skin infections. You need to be prepared for that. You need to have plans, talk to family members in case something happens. You need to have ways to take care of yourself and protect yourself in the event that folks come in on you and try to take what you have. And even if they try to take what you have, you don't want to be without some protection so you can protect, the women and children. Make sure they're not assaulted, raped. You got to read between the lines. Um, you want to make sure you're able to take care of your senior citizens. So don't forget about your seniors. Don't forget about your orphans. We're commanded to take care of those people and the poor. Poor among us are always going to be among us. So we got to make sure that we're thinking about them too. Um, just do the best you can, y'all. They're telling us to stock up. We need to stock up on food and water. And I know one of the videos that I saw said, there were some states were telling folks to stock up for food for 3 or 4 months. I didn't see that anyplace, so I don't know. I'm going to do some research after this, but I wouldn't be surprised at anything right about now. Everything is just confusing, intentionally so. But continue to prep, continue to pray, continue to seek the Most High. Repent for your sins daily, sins of commission and sins of omission. Spend time with the Most High. Get your spirits together because we are getting ready to experience some things. It doesn't really matter where you are on the earth. The whole earth is going to be disturbed. But we here are going to receive a different type of wrath, not us per se. Some of us probably are because there's so many disobedient among us, but a lot of us are going to receive wrath. So let us just prepare for what's coming and do the best we can. Love your brothers and sisters and keep all of us lifted up in prayer because we are going to need it. All right, y'all. This is Marley K. Love y'all, and I'm out.